Throughout history, God has raised prophets to remind people of his presence and guide them according to his will. Shemaiah, a prophet in Judah, delivered a critical prophecy during the reign of Rehoboam. He warned the king not to wage war against the northern tribes, as the division of the kingdom was part of God's plan. This prophecy marked the split into two separate entities, Israel in the north and Judah in the south. As Jeroboam III took control of the northern kingdom of Israel, Rehoboam continued to rule Judah. Jeroboam's idolatry was condemned by the prophet Ahijah, who had earlier prophesied Jeroboam's rise to power. Shemaiah in Judah continued to guide Rehoboam. After the brief reign of Nadab in Israel, Baasha took over and continued the path of idolatry. Simultaneously, Asa ascended the throne in Judah, bringing significant reforms, guided by the prophets Azariah and Hanani. Despite Asa's efforts, Baasha's reign in Israel remained steeped in idol worship. Elah followed Baasha, but was quickly assassinated by Zimri, whose rule lasted only a week. Asa continued his reign in Judah, supported by prophetic guidance. During this period of civil strife in Israel, Tibni contested the throne, but Omri eventually secured his rule, establishing a strong dynasty. Omri's son Ahab married Jezebel and promoted Baal worship in Israel. This brought Elijah to the forefront, performing miracles and challenging Baal's prophets. Micaiah also stood against Ahab, predicting his downfall. Meanwhile, Jehoshaphat ruled Judah, forming alliances and seeking guidance from Jehu, son of Hanani. Ahaziah, Ahab's son, continued his father's idolatry and faced condemnation from Elijah. In Judah, Jehoshaphat continued to strengthen his kingdom, guided by prophets. Elisha succeeded Elijah, advising Joram in Israel and Jehoshaphat in Judah. Jehu's coup eradicated Baal worship in Israel but maintained other sins. Elisha continued his prophetic work, while Jehoram and Ahaziah briefly ruled Judah, leading the nation into further unfaithfulness. Jehu's successors in Israel included Jehoahaz, who suffered under Aramean oppression, and Jehoash, who consulted Elisha for guidance. In Judah, Joash, influenced by Zechariah, son of Jehoiada, restored true worship but later turned to idolatry. Jeroboam II's prosperous reign in Israel saw Jonah, Amos, and Hosea condemning social injustices. In Judah, Uzziah's successful reign was guided by Isaiah and Amos, though he eventually succumbed to pride. Pekah ruled Israel, opposing Judah, while Isaiah prophesied about impending judgment. Jotham and Ahaz ruled Judah, with Isaiah and Micah offering counsel. The last king of Israel, Hoshea, saw the kingdom fall to Assyria, fulfilling Isaiah's prophecies. Hezekiah's reign in Judah brought significant reforms and trust in God during the Assyrian invasion, guided by Isaiah and Micah. Manasseh initially promoted idolatry, but later repented, influenced by Nahum's prophecies. Amon's brief reign continued idolatry, but Josiah's ascension brought major religious reforms, rediscovering the Book of the Law, with guidance from Jeremiah, Zephaniah, and Huldah. As Jehoiakim and his successors faced the Babylonian threat, Jeremiah and Habakkuk warned of impending judgment. Despite their warnings, the last king of Judah, Zedekiah, saw the kingdom fall to Babylon, fulfilling the prophecies of Jeremiah and Ezekiel. Throughout these turbulent times, God sent his prophets to guide, warn, and encourage his people, showing his enduring presence and desire to dwell among those who worship him faithfully. The prophets were a constant reminder of God's covenant and his unfailing love for his people. God used the voice of prophets to communicate his messages to the world, calling people to correct their ways, seek repentance, and realign themselves with God's will. They made people aware of the consequences of their actions and the hope of restoration. Through their words and visions, God's desire was to lead people toward a righteous path and prepare them for the days to come. This kept his presence with his people and showed his desire to dwell among those who worship him faithfully. The prophets were a constant reminder of God's covenant and his unfailing love for his people.